What's unique about California in general, San Francisco and the Bay Area in particular, is that there's a whole nother class of people who are becoming homeless that in other states don't become homeless. Working poor, teachers, baristas, bartenders, living in cars. That's something that you don't see in other states. And when you fold that in on top of the mental health problems and the substance abuse problems that are everywhere, that's how you get the big numbers that we have in California. And the primary driver for that is housing costs.
The Bay Area's housing crisis is decades in the making. Demand has outstripped supply since the 1970s, when the federal government cut nearly $60 billion in funding for housing and urban development nationwide.
There was a lot of real estate interest around that, and much of the public housing got torn down. Some of it got replaced, but it wasn't replaced one-to-one, and so they would put in mixed income housing. A lot of people would lose their places. Literally hundreds of thousands of units of public housing have been lost in the United States. Part of it is a lack of political will and not really caring for or recognizing these huge income disparities that exist in the United States, and our kind of cultural leaning towards the bootstraps mentality that folks, if they just worked hard enough, they would be able to afford rent. What we know is that's no longer true. People can be working 2 or 3 jobs and still experiencing homelessness.
Today, the average rent for an apartment in San Francisco is $3,300. With a state minimum wage of $15 an hour, this is an impossible sum for the working class. Last year, California had the highest rate of homelessness in the U.S., accounting for 30% of the nation's total.